When people heard about the Iran-Israel war, most assumed Israel would receive the largest wave of Iranian attacks. But that's not what happened. According to multiple reports and regional defense estimates, Iran launched more missiles and drones at the United Arab Emirates than at Israel itself. So the question is, why would Iran focus so heavily on the UAE? Why target Dubai, Abu Dhabi, ports, airports, and oil infrastructure instead of concentrating everything on Israel? The answer involves geography, economics, military strategy, and a new Middle Eastern alliance that changed the balance of power forever. The first thing to understand is this. Iran no longer sees the UAE as neutral. After the Abraham Accords, relations between the UAE and Israel expanded rapidly. Trade increased, security cooperation increased. Reports during the conflict indicated Israeli defense systems and personnel were operating in the UAE. To Iran, this meant the UAE had effectively become part of the anti-Iran security network. One of the biggest reasons Iran attacked the UAE more heavily is geography. The UAE sits directly across the Persian Gulf from Iran. That matters enormously in missile warfare. Shorter distances mean easier launches, faster strikes, lower costs, and higher attack frequency. To strike Israel consistently, Iran needs longer-range ballistic missiles. But to strike the UAE, Iran can use drones, cruise missiles, short-range ballistic missiles, swarm attacks. This allowed Iran to sustain a much larger volume of attacks against Gulf targets. Reports estimated thousands of Iranian projectiles were directed toward Gulf states, with the UAE receiving the largest share. Israel is a military and political target, but the UAE is something different. It's an economic target. The UAE's global power depends on stability. Dubai especially survives on tourism, international, business aviation, shipping investor confidence. So Iran realized something important. It could pressure the world economy by attacking the UAE. One drone near Dubai airport can create global headlines. One missile near an oil terminal can move energy markets worldwide. Iran repeatedly claimed that Gulf states hosting American military assets were legitimate wartime targets. The UAE hosts major American military infrastructure, including Al Dhafra Air Base. To Tehran, attacking the UAE was also a way of attacking the United States indirectly. Instead of only fighting Israel directly, Iran expanded horizontally. This strategy forced America and its allies to defend multiple fronts simultaneously. Iran's strategy was not only about destruction, it was also about saturation. Modern missile defense systems are powerful, but expensive. Each interceptor missile can cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. By launching huge numbers of drones and missiles at the UAE, Iran attempted to exhaust interceptor stocks, create fear, disrupt commerce, and force Gulf governments into political pressure. UAE defense briefings reported more than 1,000 incoming Iranian weapons during the conflict. Some analysts believe the Gulf became the first defensive layer before missiles even reached Israel. Community discussions and defense observers describe the UAE as absorbing large numbers of lower-cost projectiles intended to stretch regional defenses. The UAE sits beside one of the most important waterways on Earth, the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has long believed that if it cannot win conventionally, it can still threaten the global economy, and the fastest way to do that is by destabilizing Gulf shipping. Recent regional tensions renewed fears about shipping disruptions and energy shocks in the Gulf. Attacking the UAE sends a message to Washington, Europe, China, global oil markets, and international investors. The conflict is also ideological. The UAE represents a completely different vision of the Middle East. To Iranian hardliners, the UAE's success and partnership with Israel challenged Tehran's regional influence. There's another important reason Iran targeted the UAE heavily. Israel is harder to damage strategically. Israel has one of the world's most advanced missile defense systems, hardened military infrastructure, deep underground facilities, and decades of experience under missile attack. Reuters reported Israeli systems intercepted the vast majority of incoming projectiles during recent conflicts. The UAE, meanwhile, is newer to sustained missile warfare. And economically, even limited disruptions can create enormous consequences. So why did Iran fire more missiles at the UAE than Israel? Because the UAE became geographically easier to hit, economically more vulnerable, strategically valuable, tied to US military infrastructure, and increasingly connected to Israel. This was not just about revenge. It was about leverage. In modern warfare, countries are targeted not only because of ideology, but because of geography, economics, alliances, and pressure points. The Iran-UAE missile war showed something new about the Middle East. The battlefield is no longer limited to traditional enemies. Now, the region's economic hubs have become front lines too.